Okay, so let's unpack this. Think about how companies, talk to us, the customer. It
Mhm.
feels like it's been changing at like lightning speed, right?
Absolutely.
Just yesterday, AI felt like maybe a helpful chatbot, automating one simple thing. But now, well, something feels fundamentally different, bigger,
Yeah.
less like just a static tool, and maybe even, I don't know, like it has a bit of agency.
That feeling is spot on.
Yeah.
We're genuinely at a turning point here. This isn't just another incremental step in AI. It's what some research is actually calling a revolution in how businesses, especially in the tech world, interact with their customers.
A revolution, that's a strong word. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. This deep dive is all about agentic AI and, its projected impact on customer experience or CX.
Huh.
We're pulling our insights specifically from new research just out from Cisco, gives us a really sharp look at this whole shift.
Right. And our goal here is to really get under the hood of what agentic AI is,
Yeah.
why it's suddenly popping up and becoming so critical, so fast, particularly in enterprise tech.
Yeah.
And maybe the most crucial piece, really, how does this new kind of autonomous AI capability find a balance with that absolute need for human connection? Trust, empathy, and customer relationships.
Exactly. What does this transformation mean for you, whether you're like building, buying, supporting, or just interacting with tech day to day?
Yeah, good question.
So let's start right there. What is agentic AI? The research uses that word revolution. Why? I mean, what makes this so different from the AI we've seen up to now?
Well, it's because agentic AI goes beyond just automating a single step or, reacting to one specific prompt.
Mhm.
Think of it as AI systems that have, according to this research, four key capabilities.
Okay.
First, they're autonomous. They can take independent action to actually work towards a goal.
Independent action. Okay.
Second, they're task aware. So they understand the context, the bigger picture, the objective they're trying to hit.
Okay. Autonomy, task awareness. That already feels like a pretty big leap. It's not just sitting there waiting for the next command.
Exactly. And crucially, they are memory enabled. They learn. They learn from past interactions, past experiences, and they get better over time because of it.
Right. Learning.
And fourth, they're reasoning capable. They can actually make decisions. Often this involves stitching together information from lots of different systems, using both real-time data and that historical context they've learned.
So it's not just like running a script or automating one little piece. It's understanding the whole situation, pulling from its memory, making a call, and then taking action across different systems to get something done. That bit about stitching together decisions and actions across systems, that really jumps out.
It does. And the research makes the point that this is how it moves from just reacting to problems to being able to actually anticipate and proactively solve issues. It's a real step change in capability.
Anticipate and proactively solve. Yeah, that definitely feels revolutionary. And the research quotes Liz Santoni. She's Cisco's EVP and Chief Customer Experience Officer, saying they feel closer than ever to solving some of the most persistent customer pain points in these big enterprise environments. That's a huge claim, right? Enabled by this kind of AI.
It is a big claim. It suggests these systems are getting sophisticated enough to tackle those really complex multi-step problems that have historically just, bogged down support teams and service teams for ages.
Okay, so we've got a clearer picture now of what agentic AI is, the potential it holds. Now let's talk about the speed this is happening. The research really emphasizes that the pressure to transform CX with this AI is building like incredibly fast.
Yeah, faster than maybe most folks realize. I mean, the headline stat here is Cisco's projection that by 2028, and that's just 4 years out, a staggering 68% of tech vendor customer service and support interactions could be managed by agentic AI.
Wow. 68% in just 4 years. That's huge. And they also say even sooner, something like 56% of interactions are expected to transition within just the next 12 months.
That's right.
So we're talking about really rapid adoption starting like right now.
It really highlights the intense pressure, the forces driving this. The research explains that this speed is basically fueled by two main things. First, IT ecosystems are just getting exponentially more complex.
Mhm.
And second, organizations are leaning on their tech partners for support and services more than they ever have before.
Right, because trying to handle all that complexity internally is just becoming, well, really hard, maybe unsustainable for a lot of companies.
Precisely. And because of that dependency, customer support and services have really shifted from being seen as a cost center to being absolutely mission critical.
Hmm.
The study found 92% of decision makers see it that way now.
92%? Wow.
And customer expectations, they've just soared. People demand speed, personalization, predictive help, consistent, high-quality interactions every time.
So, okay, if you're a company and you don't get on board with this shift, what are the risks? What does the research point out?
Well, the risks of delaying, of waiting, are pretty significant according to this. You risk losing customers, basically, because of slow or inefficient support in these complex environments.
Customer churn, yeah.
Definitely. There's also potential damage to your reputation if you try to implement AI later, maybe reactively or poorly.
Right. A bad AI experience is worse than no AI.
Could be. And critically, you lose that competitive advantage.
Hmm.
The research really frames CX, customer experience, as the new battleground for loyalty. If you fall behind here, you're losing that battle.
And the flip side, what are the benefits of moving, quickly but also thoughtfully in adopting agentic AI?
The benefits they outline are pretty substantial. You get massive scalability in your support operations,
Mhm.
right? Handling more complex interactions without needing a proportional jump in human staff.
Okay.
You get much deeper data-driven insights into how customers are actually using your tech, how your systems are performing. And all of this really translates into a strategic edge in how you deliver value, how you build relationships with your customers.
It sounds like this AI isn't just stuck at the help desk, though. The research suggests it impacts the entire technology lifecycle, not just fixing problems, but actually shaping strategy.
That's a really crucial distinction the research makes. It's not just tactical, it's strategic. Over 80% of the respondents they talked to saw potential benefits right across that whole spectrum, the whole technology lifecycle.
Okay, so let's dig into those specific areas. Where does the research see the biggest impact? I think there were 5 key ones mentioned.
Yeah, 5 main areas. First, and maybe the most obvious one, is technical support. This is where agentic AI can diagnose issues, find solutions, maybe even apply fixes autonomously,
Right.
drastically cutting down on downtime and the need for humans to jump in on common problems.
The freeing up the human experts for the really gnarly stuff.
Exactly right.
Oh,
Second area is customer success. Here, the AI can proactively monitor key things like customer usage metrics or maybe progress towards their business goals.
Uh-huh.
And it can alert the success teams or maybe even the customer directly if things seem off track or if there's an opportunity they might be missing out on.
It's like having a little proactive co-pilot watching over every customer account.
That's a good way to put it. Third, professional services. Here, agentic AI can automate some pretty rigorous tasks like compliance checks or maybe assist human experts in complex risk assessments by sifting through huge amounts of data really quickly.
Taking on that meticulous, data-heavy lifting.
Right. Fourth area is operations. The AI can monitor infrastructure performance and make predictive adjustments, trying to prevent potential issues before they impact service quality or the customer experience.
Moving from reactive fixing to proactive prevention. Got it.
Yes. And finally, number 5, it actually reaches into strategy and planning. Agentic AI can analyze long-term trends and data to offer insights that help inform technology roadmaps and help align IT investments more closely with, the bigger business objectives.
So it's not just about automating tasks down the line. It's helping organizations think more strategically about their tech, their customer relationships, everything. The research sums up the results across these areas pretty powerfully, doesn't it?
Yeah, they project significant jumps in productivity, substantial cost savings, cost efficiencies, and enabling much smarter, data-informed, long-term decision-making for businesses. It's quite compelling.
Okay, so we've got this picture of incredibly capable, autonomous, strategic AI really reshaping CX. But the research then kind of pumps the brakes a little bit and delivers what I think is probably the most vital counter message in the whole thing.
Absolutely. And the language they use is pretty unequivocal. Despite all these powerful AI capabilities and these big projections, the research states very firmly that people still matter.
Well,
Massively.
equivocal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that word carries a lot of weight. And the statistic is just as strong. 96% of customers still see human relationships as critical in B2B tech interactions.
Right. Think about that contrast for a second. Nearly 70% of interactions might be handled by AI by 2028, but 96% of customers still deeply value that human connection.
Wow.
It just highlights this essential need, as the research really stresses, to blend that AI efficiency with genuine human empathy. 89% of the people they surveyed agreed that getting that balance right is crucial.
So agentic AI isn't about removing the human. The research actually frames AI more as an amplifier of
Yeah.
human intelligence. It's designed to make humans better, more effective, not just replace them outright.
Exactly. There are certain things humans just remain absolutely vital for. Handling those really complex issues that need nuanced understanding or, creative problem solving,
Mm-hmm.
navigating highly emotional situations where empathy is just key.
Yeah.
Building that long-term trust and rapport that forms the bedrock of strategic partnerships.
Right.
And providing that higher level of consultative guidance that goes way beyond just data analysis.
And for this whole thing to work smoothly, that handover, right, between the AI and the human, it needs to be seamless. So the customer doesn't feel like they're being dropped or have to repeat everything.
Precisely. The research mentions that specifically seamless handoffs are critical. And ideally, the AI provides context, data, maybe even sentiment analysis to the human agent so they're up to speed immediately when an escalation happens. That maintains a positive experience.
Okay, makes sense. Now, with this level of autonomy and power we're talking about, there's another really non-negotiable piece the research brings up. Ethics, governance, transparency around agentic AI.
Oh, absolutely paramount. I mean, the research pretty much implies that power without responsibility is just, well, dangerous. And the consensus here was almost unanimous.
Almost unanimous on ethics. That's pretty impressive for any research study.
It really is. 99% of respondents insist that robust governance frameworks are essential for deploying agentic AI. And 81% want tech vendors to be really transparent about their AI vision, like how are they building these systems, what principles are guiding them.
So what are the core ethical foundations the research says are needed? What needs to be in place?
They list several key ones. Transparency in how the AI makes decisions. It can't just be a black box. Clear boundaries, defined limits on what actions the AI can take autonomously.
Okay.
Human-in-the-loop systems, so there's always oversight and the ability for a person to intervene when needed. And baking in privacy by design right from the start to protect customer data.
It really sounds like without those guardrails, agentic AI could actually end up damaging trust rather than building it.
The research puts it very starkly. Without those ethical foundations and proper governance, agentic AI is a liability. But when it's implemented thoughtfully, with those frameworks, it becomes a powerful trust-building tool. And that shift, that's everything in building lasting customer relationships.
Okay, so let's try and bring it all together then. What does the Cisco research tell us about the road ahead for customer experience, specifically in the tech world?
Well, the message is pretty clear. This isn't some potential future. It's the future. The transformation to agentic AI-led CX is presented as basically not optional. It's becoming a fundamental way of doing business in this, digitally accelerating world with ever-increasing customer expectations.
So the call to action for tech vendors, and really any enterprise that relies heavily on tech, it seems pretty straightforward then.
Yeah, accelerate your AI strategies,
Yeah.
definitely. But crucially, invest just as much effort and resources into building those transparent, governed frameworks around the AI,
Right.
and always focus on building human-centered AI systems tech that's designed to augment and elevate what humans can do, not just replace roles or tasks.
It's fundamentally a business imperative at this point.
Absolutely. The research concludes that the companies who get this right, the ones who navigate this transformation thoughtfully, they're the ones customers are going to reward. They'll reward companies delivering service that is, yes, AI enhanced and ethically grounded, but also genuinely emotionally intelligent.
So let's loop back to where we started and the kind of core message from this deep dive into the Cisco research. By 2028, nearly 7 out of every 10 customer interactions you have with tech companies might involve agentic AI. That's the projection.
Mm-hmm.
But the research makes it powerfully clear that the effectiveness, the success of those interactions won't just be judged by how clever the AI is technically.
No, it's really about how seamlessly that advanced tech is woven together with those timeless human values, empathy, building trust, fostering genuine partnership. The future of CX, in this vision, isn't just automated, it's deeply relational.
Relational, yeah.
Agentic AI isn't just about reducing friction or cost. It's positioned here as a critical bridge, really, to a future where automation actually elevates the human experience it serves.
It paints this fascinating picture, doesn't it? A near future that's both incredibly automated and yet almost paradoxically potentially more human-centric than ever if, and it's a big if, it's done right. So here's maybe something for you, the listener, to mull over based on all this research. What does it really mean for your expectations, your experiences, when the intelligence you're engaging with is not only capable of understanding context, making decisions autonomously, but is also learning from every single interaction? Yet, it still fundamentally relies on a human partner somewhere in the loop to deliver that vital layer of trust, empathy, and strategic insight, something to think about.